Hey guys, welcome back to Chris Baraka and family. So today we got the opportunity to be with Rina. Rina, Yani, thank you so much, Manzi, to come through.
You're most welcome. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's a pleasure. So you see now we are having a very sad topic today about depression, about poverty. The rate is very high. Tunaona wasanii, tunaona different people with different talents. All over unapata mtu ni star. They are making a lot of money and all that. But after some time, they go broke. So actually, ikanipatia thought. Maybe for example, you have gone for a gig and you've been paid 10K. That's your first gig. So is it possible for that 10K to really change your life? Ama, how can you plan yourself?
Yeah.
As a creative?
Yeah. So I mean, first of all, well done for covering this topic. I'm very passionate about helping people think through their finances and be a bit more intentional in planning for their future where the money is concerned. 10K can't change your life.
Wow.
Fact. It can't. 10K alone, it's your first income, it can't change your life. However, consistently putting money aside can. Because that 10K, if you just take out 1,000 from it and decide that every single time I get money, at a minimum, I'll take out 10%. Eventually, you will get somewhere. The fact is that we all hope that one day we'll get a deal here, a massive amount of money sent to me there. You know, an uncle will leave for me some money and I'll be sawa. Ama nikipata hii pesa sijui kitoka wapi, that is a huge amount of money, nitakuwa sawa. But it doesn't work that way. You know, I was looking at some research, Steve, that was done in the US, and they found that most of the wealthy people, majority of the wealthy people in the US, names that we all recognize, took 28 years on average to become wealthy.
28 years?
28 years of consistently putting money aside. Now, it doesn't matter how much I make. What matters is how much I keep. So if I'm able to put money aside and I consistently say, I'm going to set aside money with every amount of income I get, whether that income is from a salo, or that income is a gift I'm given, I put aside a certain amount of money towards my future. Imagine it adds up. And you know how it adds up? By investing it. So if I invested money today, and Steve, I've done numbers and calculations and found, if today I decided kila mwezi, I will invest 2,500. Just 2,500 kila mwezi, and I invest it in something that gives me about 10% interest.
Yes.
If I consistently do it from the age of 25, at the age of 65, after 30 years, I will have 3.8 million.
Wow.
That's about how much. But if I decide I'm going to increase that amount of money, okay? Actually, it's more than that. I'm sorry.
For the 2,500,
it's actually 8.9 million. It's not 3. It's 8.9 million.
If you invest it.
If I invest it in something that is making me 10% per annum. 10% you can get easily. Per annum. Even if you put money in a money market fund today, you get 9.5%. You know, those are low returns. If I put it in a bond, for example, I'll get 12.5, 12.7%.
Wow.
Tax-free. So I'm saying that if you consistently put money aside, you will end up with the millions. But if you just say, just 10 Gs, sasa hii 10 Gs nitafanya nini nayo? Say I have this obligation and that obligation, but if you put money aside consistently, you will eventually get there. Now the problem is we don't do it. Because we're like, just 10 Gs, just 2 Gs, and we spend the money. But we make the assumption, and that assumption is wrong, that as I continue to earn, and as I continue to grow, I will earn more in the future. But it's not necessarily the truth.
No, yeah, I agree with you. But then again, I think the issue comes in with the industry. There's a lot of pressure in the industry. You see now, for example, you're an artist. You're supposed to look good. You're supposed to brand yourself better.
Yeah.
So again now, you see, unapata, there's the whole investing in yourself thing. So how are you able to keep aside that money? You see now, like for many artists, which I'm sure this is what they do, you find an artist can make X, Y amount of money, but now they bring that amount of money back to their art. They want to invest it. Sometimes it might profit, it might profit them, sometimes it might give them a loss.
I think the question to ask yourself as an artist is, how much do I need to be able to reinvest back into my art, whether that's taking a course, whether that's buying clothes, whether that's making your hair in a certain way. How much is that you need to reinvest back in your craft that enables you to consistently, build this brand? What is that amount? If that amount is 5,000 a month or 10,000 a month, then let it be that amount and budget for it. So that I know my expenses are rent, food, Wi-Fi, simu, and this branding. It's a cost that I have to invest in. But you see now, a lot of people don't keep that structure. I've seen a nice pair of shoes, there are guys hanging out at the club, let me pay the round this time, and so you end up spending money without having a plan for it. So the first place to start is to plan. When I receive money, before the money comes, Steve, when I receive money, what am I doing with that money? I have to make sure that I pay rent. I have to make sure that I have all these different expenses plus the reinvestment. Once I've taken care of that, even in the way that I cost for myself, when I go and tell them this is my price, I have to make sure that I take in my costs into that price. For example, if I have a gig, and for that gig I have to make sure I have a cab to take me there, I need to buy a jacket, amani viatu, amani whatever it is, to look good for that gig, then that cost for the gig has to take into account the costs for those things, if it is possible. That way then I'm able to make something on top, and out of that thing I make on top, I have some money that I then save. But you cannot earn money and not save it. You have to save some.
So it's important for you to save.
It is not just important, it is a must that you save some. Because what happens when you stop earning money? And we have different earning curves.
Yeah.
Okay? Some people, there are three main earning curves. There are people who start earning money normally, majority of people, you finish school, then unapata job. Ukipata job, salary inakuanga chini sana. So maybe 15 Gs ama 20,000.
Yeah, sure.
After a few years, you get more experience, you get more qualifications, salary goes up. Maybe you get another job, salary goes up. It gets to a certain point, you get to your peak, maybe around the age of 45, 50. Then you start plateauing, and then it comes down and you stop working and you retire. That is the main earning curve for most people. Artists, sports people who are talented have a different earning curve.
Yeah, sure.
Their earning curve starts up here at the beginning of their career.
Yeah, depending with their brand.
Depending on their brand.
Yes.
Well, this is true. For some of them, it could do the same, but it has a shorter upward trend.
Yes.
Or it could be that you're an artist and then you get a hit song and it goes shwa,
yes,
right to the top. Now, what happens is if you don't manage your money well, when you have it, then you find it decreases. The third earning curve that we need to have is the one that goes up and continues to go up. Even after you stop working, it continues to go up.
Yes.
The only way you can get an earning curve that goes up in that way, so that I'm 85 and I'm leaving businesses that I'm handing over to my children and generations thereafter, is if I invest. Is if I put money in something that continues to grow. If I put money in a business, if I put money in real estate and I have a house somewhere, I'm getting income. If I put money in a stock market, or I buy a business, or I buy shares somewhere, then the value of that investment continues to grow, whether I am here or I am not. And that's what we have to do. While we have ability to work, what we must do is put aside some for the years we're not able to work. Let me ask you, Steve, if you stop working at the age of 65, how much longer do you think you will live for?
Probably 20 more years, maybe.
Maybe even 30.
Yes, sure.
Statistics are showing we might live until the age of 100.
Wow.
So what will you do from 65 to 100? Those are 35 years. Pesa zitatoka wapi? If you have not set aside some. Do you understand?
Yeah, and it will be very hard for you to get a hit song then.
Exactly.
Yeah, because the whole industry has changed everything. For you not to get that sound of that time.
You can't get the same sound.
Yes.
Umezeka sana. Hata you don't even know what is happening.
Yes.
And so we don't have a choice. In fact, the Retirement Benefits Authority, that is the body that governs pensions and retirement and products around that, shared a statistic. The CEO, who was there for 14 years, told us in 2019 that 80% of Kenyans, 8 out of 10 Kenyans, are retiring poor, unable to meet their basic needs. Why do you think that's happening? It's because we're living for today. Even when you look at the kind of investments Kenyans are putting their money in, they want money tomorrow, next year. They can't see beyond 3 years. And that's a problem. We need to invest for 30 years, for 20 years, so that by the time, if I'm 30 today, I'm thinking 30 years from today, not 3 years. Yeah.
I think, Pia, the issue about investing for the future, with all due respect, I think unaona kama religion could be a limitation.
Religion?
Yeah. Because babu, if I believe the rapture is happening 10 years from now, would I understand why should I invest for 30
the same
years?
Bible that you're believing about rapture?
No, but you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah. No, I understand what you're saying, but that's laziness. That's what I put it to. Because even the Bible talks about the ant that we need to learn from. This ant that goes to harvest in the summer, so that in the winter when there's no food, it has stored enough to be able to survive then. So when we have energy, when we have ability, when our names are out there and we have the ability to make an income of some kind, that's when we should store some. So that then when winter comes, and na inakuja by the way, tough times are coming. Times when we don't have
much tougher
as much
times than 2020.
Well, I don't know, but I mean, I'm speaking generally. Even if your business is doing well, even if it was 2020, there are businesses that were thriving.
Yes.
But they come in cycles. Life is about...
Yeah, like for 2020, you see there were no events. So for example, you see maybe for artists, you see now for artists who are making money through gigs, there were no gigs then.
Yeah, there were no gigs then.
Yes.
And that can happen again. We have now Omicron that has come. We don't know what's going to happen in 2022. Is it going to cause lockdowns again? We don't know what's going to happen. And so while we have the income, then we need to put some aside.
So you're saying the first step is for keeping aside. You've talked about saving. That should be like your primary number one step.
Number one step with every income you earn.
Yeah. But definitely needs a lot of discipline, right?
It does.
Yeah.
So my recommendation usually when I, because it's tough, when you receive the money, na kama ukipata cash, by the way, and you put it in your wallet, you'll spend the money. So if you can set up your system such that kama unatumia bank, you do a standing order. You inform the bank, please, when I get every month on this date, send money to this savings account. Maybe it's a money market fund or a certain savings account that you have where you then remove money to then invest. Or make it a habit. Every time you receive money, ikikuja na M-Pesa, you put some in M-Shwari to stay there. That one is savings, the rest you can use. But you have to you need to see what are my circumstances and how can I make sure that every time I receive money of whatever kind, I put some aside for saving. That's the basic rule.
Saving. Wow, that's awesome. So, after now we have overspent and all this, now you're financially broke.
Okay.
Is there hope for you?
There's always hope.
Yes.
There's always hope. I think the first thing is not to lose hope, because what happens is when you're broke, money, hakuna pesa, hakuna job, it's bad. You lose hope and you slip into depression. Now, when you're in that state, it's very difficult to find work because you lack confidence. You feel inferior. You feel, will people talk to me? And when you come in that way, even your body language, you will not get the work that you want. So if you remain hopeful, remain connected to people, because a lot of times also when you're in that situation, what do? Unajifungia kwa nyumba.
Yeah.
You don't see people, you're feeling embarrassed, people are sort of used to seeing you in a certain light, and now you're not in the same way. Keep connected to people. Let people know you don't have work. And be open to doing any kind of work so that you're able to generate at least some income. Yeah.
There's a time I was listening to a story of an artist. He became now financially bankrupt. And then now after the bankruptcy, he was sharing the story with now different friends. Okay. Imagining now the friends are still now celebrities, you understand? Yeah. But now they were laughing at him.
They were laughing.
They were like, you remember those days you were going to South Africa, you are leaving us here, now you have nothing. You see, now there are such kinds of people, because now eventually this artist committed suicide. He went on top of a certain building and then he just chose to end it there. So apart from maybe speaking to people, you see, is there any other hope?
Imagine there's hope. I think, first of all, you need to surround yourself with the right friends when things are working and when they are not. Life is not just about making money and living a flashy lifestyle. It's also making a difference in your community. I think the mistake that we make is when I earn an income, I'm doing well, I want to associate myself with a certain kind of people. So I change where I hang out, I change my friends, I used to go to this place, Sasa Siendi, you know, I want to buy a certain kind of car, I want to live in a certain kind of house. You want to immediately upgrade. Now, when you do that, the people who are your friends don't recognize you anymore. Because you know, you've
they
come
recognized you on that class that you presented yourself with.
Exactly. And now you want to associate yourself with a certain kind of people who you get into their spaces, not because they are good people, not because they're good friends, not because they love you and think you're a great person, but because of what you have and what you can do for them. Now that's where it starts to go wrong. Because when you are with people of wherever they are, so let's say the people I went to school with, there are people I went to school with who are wealthy, and there are others I went to school with who are not wealthy. But it doesn't matter, because there are people who know me for who I am. Now, if I associate with those people always, I know they have my back. It's not about the money we have and the places we go and what we do. I know they have my back. Now, when I become wealthy, why should I stop hanging out with them and hang out with other people who... And now you're in those circles, people are jealous, like this gentleman you've just described.
Yes.
Yeah? Atimena, South Africa. Now you can't go. Now, what kind of a friend is that? So I have to choose my friends, my people, the people I associate with very wisely. So that I like to call them destiny helpers. People who are sold out to seeing me succeed. And I am sold out to seeing them succeed. That's what our friendship is. Now, when I have friends like those, and I am in a state of sadness and depression, there are people I can tell. I'm struggling in my marriage. I'm struggling with raising my children. I'm struggling with work. I don't have work. People you can be real with.
Yes.
Now, those are the kind of people we need to surround ourselves with. You know, this complex of, now I'm an artist. That's where go to certain places. You know, I have to dress in a certain way all the time. Why give yourself so much pressure? I want to be in a space where, listen, even if I earn $1 million, I want to be able to be comfortable not to get my nails done. I don't like getting my nails done. And that's just me. That's really who Rina is. I like to wear flat shoes. And I don't want to change that about me. Because that's what I find comfortable. I don't care what Brian Babu says. I'm not looking cool enough, right?
Yeah, sure.
And there's a certain image I have to portray. But I want to be myself. There's this artist called Alicia Keys. Has Alicia Keys made less money because she decided she's not going to wear makeup?
No. She's a megastar.
She's a megastar.
Globally.
Has she lost friends because she's decided she's not going to, do certain things to her? I think the important thing we have to do is be authentic. Live an authentic life. Let people, do you know, people love authenticity? In fact, when I look at posts on social media and look at different people who exist in this country, those guys who are the authentic ones, those are the people who stay in the game longer. When I look at people like Nameless and Wahoo, who are just real, not people who come and go in a flash, trying to show us, this is
flashy
lifestyles. People who, you can relate with. Those are the guys who stay the journey.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it's about, you should set the right foundation.
Set the right foundation.
Yes.
Know who are you? What are my values? What do I stand for? What's important for me? With every single decision that I make, what is the filter that I use to make that decision? I can't look at Paul and Kevin and Steven and Washuka and then decide that's what they think is cool, let me do that. I will die.
Yeah.
I am telling you that. If I live my life to please others, I'm telling you, I will not go far. If you're an artist today and you're listening to me, do what you consider important, what you value, even in the way that you produce your music and you produce your craft. That's what is going to get you there. Not pretending to be somebody that you're not. Yeah. And money is a core and forms a core role in that aspect. So that you set aside some. What will you feed your children? And what will you, if you're married and you have other responsibilities, you have a family looking to you, how you, there are decisions that you have to make based on your personal circumstances, not what everybody else wants.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I was thinking in these lines as well. I was thinking maybe, you see now in the term, in the sense of hope, is there hope again? I was thinking that you are an artist, but the craft you've been doing hasn't been working.
Okay.
I was thinking that it's okay for you to change maybe the skill. You can choose to do something different. You understand?
I do.
Yes.
You know, passion is not everything, eh?
Wow.
Yeah, you have to put food on the table. You can't just do what you're passionate about. In fact, sometimes some people do things they're passionate about and they're really not good at it. You have to look at, what am I passionate about? What do people need? And what am I good at?
I think you should repeat that. What am I passionate about?
What am I passionate about?
Yes.
But passion is not enough. I also need to look at, what am I good at doing? Like sincerely good at doing. That I have the competencies and the skills and the abilities to do a fantastic job. And I can potentially be the best in my community in doing it. Okay? Number 3, what do people need that I can serve them with that relates to my passion and my gift and talent and ability that I can sell to them? Are we together?
Yes.
So if I'm doing something that I'm passionate about and I'm very good at it, but I can't sell, I'm gonna be a broke ass chick. Forgive my French. All right?
Yeah.
If I do something that I am very good at and it makes me money but I lack passion, I'm gonna be a miserable human. Like doctors who they got A's, they went to medical school. Have you ever gone to a doctor's office who just looks like they're in pain being in that office? Then you don't actually end up succeeding in the long term because it's not something you enjoy doing. Right?
Yeah.
But where passion meets a need and ability or a skill, then you hit the jackpot. So today, if you're passionate and your passion is not making you money, then you need to rethink and see what can you do that you're good at that can make you money. Even if that thing you don't like yet, it can be something that you do for a short period of time to help you put food on the table that enables you then do what you're really passionate about. Yeah.
Wow, lovely. So on our first discussion, you were talking about different investments. So 2022 is coming.
Yeah.
Maybe there's some investments you can recommend which someone can look into. Maybe you can share that with us.
Yeah, sure. It's difficult for me to just share investments broadly. There are so many kinds of investments.
Yes.
So allow me to share a framework of how you can think through investing so that as you get started, you know, where do I begin? Where do I start? Sasa, I've just got this amount of money. Where do I start? Now, there are 3. You remember Maslow's hierarchy of needs? I like to use this one. Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
Yes.
This triangle that shows you 5 levels. Security, safety, intimacy and belonging, you know, feelings of accomplishment, and then self-actualization.
Wow.
There's that pyramid, okay? So let's just go back to class and remember that one.
Yeah.
Now, when you're thinking about investing, the first thing you need to think about is what are the needs and the goals that I have. So that as I invest my money, I'm not putting all my money in a piece of land and then I have this need that I forgot to think about and I'm not able to sell my land to be able to meet this need. That's why we have to think about it in that framework. So the first thing you must do is ensure that you have a safety net. Your security is taken care of. What do I mean by that? That if you are in a situation where gigs are not coming through, you have money that can carry you through for a few months until you're able to make another income. What I call an emergency fund.
Yes.
It's a safety net. You're not looking to make money at 2 times return, 30% return. No, you're looking to protect what you already have. Another thing is insurance. Health insurance. You must have health insurance because if you fall sick and you need money to go to hospital and there are no people to come and do harambe for you, then you can go broke and get into debt. So you need to have health insurance. That falls under safety net. So if you want to start investing and you're in debt also, you have to first make sure that that debt is manageable. So if you have Mshwari, Tala, Fuliza, all those things, and a credit card loan that is over, you were looking at 45% per annum interest, I have no business investing before I pay off that loan. You know why? If I invest in an opportunity, I don't personally know any opportunity for investing that can give me 40% per annum return guaranteed. There is none. Are we together? So if on one hand I'm paying 45% return to somebody for money I owe, and then on the other I'm getting 10% return for money I'm putting aside, what am I doing? I'm actually losing money at the end of the day. I might as well pay off the expensive debt and then come and start to invest. So make sure debt is the high expensive debt. This is a mobile loans, eh?
The Tala's branch.
Tala branches zote are paid for. Then you have an emergency fund. What is an emergency fund? Money that you put aside to cater for those emergencies or when I don't have an income. So how do you calculate it? You need to know, how much am I spending per month? What are my expenses? If I don't know what my expenses are, then I don't even know where to begin. So if I know what my expenses are and I know what I need to have so that I cover my critical expenses, then I know, okay, if it's 100,000 a month, I start saving towards having 600,000 shillings saved somewhere in case of emergencies. So find out how much you are spending per month. And then you can put that money in a money market fund.
Yes.
Do I describe what a money market fund is?
Yes, please do.
So a money market fund is an account that you open with a company that is called an asset management company. Like, there are many. Whole list. If you go to the Nation newspaper, turn the pages, go to the section that talks about the stock market, about vegetables and what the prices are in the market. Now you will see a list of all these companies that offer money market funds. They're called unit trusts. It's a kind of unit trust. But this one, you're not taking any risk. There is Sanlam, Investments East Africa. You have ICA. You have CIC. You have Old Mutual. There's many. Okay? So you can choose the one you want based on the size of the company and the return they're offering you. Now, when you put your money there, you're getting more than you would in the bank. So they're offering 8-9% per annum. At the bank, you'll get 4%. So it's a great place to park your money for emergencies. Now, when you've got the emergency fund, even if it's just 1 month's emergency fund saved, you can then now start to invest. What are the different investment options in addition to that? Now we move to the second level in your Maslow's hierarchy, where we're looking at these needs. I want to be able to get a nice hairdo. I want to be able to buy nice clothes. I want to be able to get my shoes from this place. I want to be able to continue to do a facial, whatever it is. I want to be able to sustain my current standard of living for the foreseeable future. If I live in a certain neighborhood, my kids go to a certain kind of school, I want to be able to afford to continue to do that. How do I do that? I have to make sure that I invest at a rate that is higher than inflation. So that even as inflation comes, I have money that is set aside, that is growing alongside me even as I continue to work. Options are the stock market. And the stock market here, I mean any stock market. It can be in Kenya, it can be in Ghana, it can be in Nigeria, it can be in the US, anywhere. These days, in fact, even I work at Faida Investment Bank. We've just recently launched an app where you can invest even in the US markets. You can buy Facebook and Apple and Tesla, whatever, and many what we call ETFs, foreign opportunities, to be able to invest. So you can buy shares and you can get in touch with us and we'll be able to help you to do that. You can also invest in treasury bonds. Minimum investment amount for treasury bonds, 50,000 shillings. Minimum investment amount for shares depends on the shares that you're buying. But with 5,000 shillings, you can invest in the stock market.
Wow.
Yeah. Higher. Next is real estate. And real estate, you don't have to do it alone. You can come up with a group of people, put money together and build a unit, 200,000 shillings. You can build something. If you have a piece of land, you can build a unit, one-roomed unit, 250,000. Rent it out, move to the next one, like that, okay? Or you can do half stone, half mabati. Just build something that can bring you an income. Other investment options within that category is a business. I can start a business, and the business can be of any kind. If you're an artist, you can just organize yourself a bit better and offer business to do MCing. That can give you a bit of extra work. You can, I don't know, what other jobs, singing. And you can go on places.
You can form bands.
Yeah, you can form bands and, just. You
can have a PA service and stuff, the speakers and stuff like that.
There we go. Rent out,
yes.
Gear. Even if you're a photographer, you can rent out gear as well. So the options are many, particularly for business. Depending on your area of interest, where the need is, and what you're good at. And then next level is self-actualization. So you want to give yourself the opportunity to create wealth. But without saving, you can't do any of this stuff. Do you understand?
Yes.
So now I can even go to the level of investing in cryptocurrencies. But I can only invest at that level of cryptocurrency when I have got a safety net in place and I have few investments that are giving me average market return. And now I'm cruising. Now I can start going to invest in other high risk opportunities that can make me 5x, 10x. In crypto, we see even 20x within 3 months. I invest in crypto as well, by the way.
Wow.
So there's opportunities everywhere. But you need a system and a structure. Nobody got wealthy by accident, Steve. Si tunaanguka, nimepata do. It doesn't work that way. It's hard work. And you have to be consistent and diligent in the process.
So is it you've given lots and lots of solutions, which is amazing. But then again, is it important for maybe someone to get a financial education or something? Or
yes.
And is it available in Kenya? Maybe
it is available in Kenya.
Yeah.
First of all,
which I'm sure I know
I
you
have a YouTube
book.
channel with over 400 videos.
Yes,
for free.
Yes.
Money-wise with Rina Hicks. I have a book, only 1,000 shillings, that tells you where do you begin. What are the different investment options available?
Everything we've spoken about is in the book.
Everything we've spoken about is in the book. And then I've written the book so simply, it's mostly stories.
Yeah, I've seen it. Even the text are large enough.
It's large text. It's like a small book. Like it will not take you a long time to finish. And I've tried to make it not technical at all, so that somebody, by the time they're done, know exactly where they're going to begin and can follow through. Even if you're 12 years, you can read the book and you'll be able to understand it.
Yeah. You see, because at the moment, I think everyone is just going to buy lands. But now you ask them, okay, you've chosen to buy land. Why are you buying? I'm just buying.
Yeah.
So it's good for you to be very aware of what you're doing.
Everything has to have a purpose, and it's called investing with purpose. Investing with a goal. Why are we buying land? And then to hold alafu. Have I made sure that I've covered my basics? Your safety net that I told you about. Have I covered my need? Because if I'm putting all I remember, I've been in the industry, in the financial services industry for 18 years. I remember many years back, a client came to me and said, I've gotten, a young man, I've gotten some 300K from my parents. It's for school fees, for university, for 2 terms. But instead of going to pay to the school, I want to invest in the stock market. Okay? Now, you can't invest money that you have to have within a certain period of time in the stock market, because the stock market goes up and it goes down. Because today there's no rain, we're in a drought, interest rates have gone high, the economy is not doing well. What happens to companies? Their sales go down.
Yes. Profits
go down. And if they're listed on the stock exchange, what happens to their price? It goes down. But when things are good, everything is working, prices go up. So it's like that, up and down, up and down. So if I invest in the stock market, I need to know I'm investing for a long period of time, at least 3 to 5 years. Needs to be my time horizon. Sasa, if you now decide you're going to invest money that you need in 3 months in the stock market, you'll be in trouble. So you have to understand, financial education is so critical, because if you don't understand how the different investment products work, then it's going to be difficult for you to make an informed decision. We also have a program that we run called Investable, and I run it in partnership with people called Africa's Pocket, where we teach you how do you actually create an investment plan. It's
available online?
It's available online.
All right.
It's available online.
It's our website?
We are africaspocket.com, and you can get the details of that course there. But there's so many resources. There's even people like Centonomy and other people who exist in this market, and we have free resources online. So when I started doing videos on money and investing, I started in 2016. I was the only one doing this content.
Actually, I've been watching for some time.
Yeah, but now there are so many people talking about finances on who are Kenyans on the internet. Just take time to know, and there are people who can work with you and mentor you. We also have brokerage houses and investment banks like ourselves. Open doors. You just come to the office, and we'll be able to sit with you and explain where do I start? I have 10,000 shillings. I've earned 10 Gs. Where do I begin? And we'll be able to assist you. There's resources and there's people. But financial education, like you said, and just understanding How do I manage my money is very important. What investment options exist for me? How can I take advantage of them? What are the risks that I need to watch out for? Very, very important, because then that way you will not end up putting your money somewhere where you will end up losing.
And then you just mentioned about mentors.
Yeah.
So you should get a mentor as well.
So, you know,
so financial education, mentor.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And the mentor doesn't have to be somebody that I sit the way I'm sitting across you right now. The mentor can be can I tell you who is a mentor of mine? I have never even met them. I have 2 mentors that live in the US. They don't even know I exist in this planet.
So who are they?
One
I think they're going to be my mentors as well. So who are they?
One of them is Dave Ramsey. He has no idea that there's a Rina Hicks in this world.
Yeah, I think I've seen him.
Yeah, very good content.
Yes.
Another one is Melody Hobson. I love her to bits. She's an African American who is sold out to making sure people in the marginalized communities in the US understand that there's opportunities for them to invest and how to invest. And so I really admire her. Those are my mentors. And those are people I've watched over the years. And I'm like, you know what? I've understood about ABCD from this person specifically and changed the way that I operate because of them. And there's many others that I work with.
They are your financial mentors.
There's financial, but not necessarily. There's financial mentors, there's business mentors, there's parenting mentors I have.
Different people. These are different people.
These are different people.
Yeah. You know, it's not, you see, like you see the way I understand mentorship, maybe you have like this one person.
But that one person can't have everything that you need, Steve.
Yes, sure.
There are people who you look and watch and follow because they're such healthy people who eat well, exercise well, and you admire them.
So you can have a physique mentor.
You can have a health mentor. What are the core pillars for you? What are the things that stand out for you that are important for you? It's health. There's health, spirituality, intellectual growth, finances, your marriage and other meaningful relationships, parenting. So what are those for you? And who represents success in those pillars? There's not one person in this planet who, sort of covers everything. And then there's something else. As I've grown and people write to me on LinkedIn and all sorts of places, can you mentor me? One of the things that people need to understand, mentors are not just sitting at a bench somewhere waiting for people to mentor, wondering, who am I going to mentor now? Yeah. It doesn't work that way. We're busy. So when you want a mentorship relationship, you have to ask yourself, what value am I going to add to this person so that I can spend time with them? And you can ask, can I buy you lunch, Steve? I want to understand how I can produce videos effectively without spending too much money. Can I buy you a coffee? You'll be like, sawa. See, I'll just spend an hour with Rina and help her understand how to produce her videos cheaper.
Yeah, sure.
Then as a mentor, to me, you will know it's not an extended period of time we're working together. It's this one coffee that I'm going to have with her. You understand the scope of our meeting and you'll be happy. You will say yes. But when somebody says, can you be my mentor? What does that even mean for the person who's going to be a mentor? So I'm saying this for those people who are wondering, I'm looking for a mentor. How can I get a mentor? Offer that mentor value. Ask them, can I serve you for free for 3 months to learn 1, 2, 3 things? Or for 1 month, can I carry your bag and drive you to the places you need to go, whatever it is. Wow. But you have to offer value to get value. Yeah.
Wow. I think that scripture is very powerful.
Scripture?
Yes.
Which one?
The one says that my people perish because of lack of knowledge. Yeah. I think it's all about learning and studying. So if you want now to, may I say, overcome this depression, this poverty, this bankruptcy, it's all about getting the right information and applying it to work, right?
Yeah. Wow. And social support.
And social support.
People, we were not made to live in an island.
Yeah.
The reason you're here, the reason I'm seated here is because there's been a whole host of people behind me. I mean, if God could just shine a light to all the people who have supported Steve to get to this level today, 2021, December.
For sure.
I'm telling you, we will be shocked because it's an army.
Yeah.
All of us are supported by so many people, our families, our friends, our teachers, all the people who are behind us. You can't cut yourself off your social support. Once you do that, you start to die inside. You have to remain in community.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's this question, which is our final question. We've spoken about very beautiful things, but now how do you fail?
How do you fail?
Yes. How do you go down? I'm a superstar, I'm on top of the world, I'm a millionaire, I'm a billionaire. So how do you fail? I won't say I fail. How do they fail? You get? So this one we're going to, you know, so many conversations about going up. But I think it's important also to understand how people go down. What happens?
When I think about it from the perspective of a building that has collapsed, you know, these two buildings that we see,
yeah, you know, there's a time Kwanza I used to see in Huruma and stuff.
In Huruma,
yes.
Kwanza. You know, you see a building just going down and then it collapses. Usually the foundation is the issue. I think people fail because they've not taken time to build foundations that are solid in terms of who am I? Who really am I? When I remove all these layers of money and things, and who am I at the core? When you don't know who you are, you will fail. Because you will say yes to things that are not in alignment with your values. And those things can confuse you. When I look at somebody like Whitney, for example, fantastic, amazing superstar. When I think about people like Michael Jackson, who we adored when we were kids. When I think about people like 50 Cent and all the people, the artists who've been around us who've done, you were telling me about Lil Wayne,
yeah,
and so many others. At the core, the reason they fail is they don't know who they are. And so they get caught up in a lifestyle that confuses them. Drugs and alcohol addictions and other kinds of addictions and challenges that come, you know, in life. But when you know who you are, even when wind comes, the wind of challenges, failures and pain and all of that come, at the core, if you know who you are, then you tend to stand firm. Money is a powerful thing. Another thing that I see people failing is when money is their mission. When money becomes your mission, it takes control of you. But when it's a tool that you're using to, you know, sort of push a certain mission that is bigger than you, then it stops being about you.
Wow.
And I find that when you have a goal and a mission that is bigger than just money, failing becomes hard. Failing in terms of just falling down for committing suicide. You know what I mean?
Yes.
We all fail. We all make mistakes. We all fail.
Yes.
But the kind of failure I sense you're talking about is a failure where you lose yourself and lose your sense of purpose to the point where you're ready to take your life. I think for me, those are the two key things.
First of all, you're talking about knowing who you are. I think that could be the toughest question to anyone. Yeah. Which actually, how are you able to know who you are?
You have to soul search. You know, I met a young lady in her 20s, and she really inspires me. And she told me every month she goes to a restaurant or somewhere where there's grass. She'll sit down the whole day. She's reviewing her life. What have I been able to achieve? She has goals that she starts out with. This is what I want to be able to do.
They're written goals.
And they're written goals.
Okay.
Let me give you my personal story so that I'm not talking about others. When I was 27, there's a gentleman who I admired a lot in our church. He was in his 50s at the time.
Admiring in terms of?
Admired in every way. He was a CEO of the company he worked for. He had children who were about my age, who are just, you know, those kids who are just well behaved.
Yes.
He had a marriage that was working. He had a foundation that was educating hundreds of kids in poor communities, in a business that he was CEO of that was thriving. You know how you look, and then he's chairman of the church. I used to look at this man and I'm like, wow. Like if I could, at that time when I was in my 20s, if I could point at a man who had done, or a person, let me say, a human who had done well, he was it for me. But he didn't know. So one day I decided, let me approach him, and I asked him, can I have tea with you? Can I come over to your house and I just have a few questions for you? And he was like, of course, come. And he invited me, and I went over and we had tea. And he said to me that the thing for him that helped him get to where he is constantly checking where he is at against where he wants to go. And he told me he has very clear core pillars in his life. He looks at his family life, his spirituality, and his love for God. For him, career is important, intellectual growth is important, his health is important, and one more, I can't remember what it was. And he said he set very specific goals. In fact, what he told me to do is, he said, draw a timeline, okay? Just draw a line. You're 27 now. Now draw intervals of 4 years. 4 years. 27, then you keep going until the age of 84. And he asked me, what do you see? What do you want to see? Okay? And I wrote down, I want to be married, I want to have a child here, I want to have another child here. I had none. I wasn't married then.
At 27.
At 27.
Yeah.
And I wrote down all the different things I wanted to do. And I can tell you a lot of the things that have happened in my life are as a result of that process. And over the years, I have gone back and refined that, because of course I'm changing as an individual, I'm maturing, circumstances have changed. But I can tell you that takes me back to the core. When you take time to think through what's important to me, because that is very centered towards purpose. You know, the reality is we are not just here by accident. All of us were brought to this planet for a purpose. And there's a higher being that exists that created us. And the sooner you tap into that, the faster you'll be a success in what he created you to be. But for as long as you're just like, nido, wacha nienda ni mikdo, you know? That can't be why you live every day. And if it is, that's why you fail. The third thing that can actually cause failure, and it's the choice of the spouse that you decide to go with. A spouse who doesn't share the same principles, a spouse who you don't actually talk and open up and disclose, I'm in debt. You know, you can marry a spouse who is in so much debt, doesn't tell you that they're in so much debt, and then you end up married and you're in trouble. Or a spouse who you don't carry along with you as you're opening up those businesses, as you're getting things done, and you're not telling them and helping them get to the same level as you where your financial knowledge is concerned. So you find that you have a spouse, whether that's a male or a female, you know, it could be a husband or a wife, who spends all the money you're making. And by the way, spenders are not necessarily women. A lot of people think that the spenders are women, but they're also men. I know women who work and their husbands also work, but they make such huge decisions that mess them up financially. And so the choice of person that you marry is very critical. It's not just, I have feelings for them, they're hot, and we'll have good sex. No, that is the icing on the cake. The question is, are we in alignment? Am I able to trust this person? Am I able, if it's a woman, can I follow this man? And as a man, can I trust this woman? Are we aligned as human beings? Can I have a goal together with this person? I'm telling you, if you don't have that, you're in trouble.
Wow.
Because your spouse can mess you up, both psychologically and financially. And finances are the biggest cause of divorce globally.
Wow.
Yeah. So you have to choose your spouse carefully. And for those of you who are married, communication. A lack of communication where finances are concerned will trip you up, because you're making assumptions. This person is hiding purchases, hiding debt, hiding this, hiding the other. 5 years down the line, you think you're doing well, and you find our house is being auctioned. Somebody took a loan, they've not been paying, they've not disclosed it, and now our home that we've lived in for 20 years is being auctioned, and we have to go and
Very
leave
sad.
it. It's very sad. It can really bring you down.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah. That's my view.
And if you're not failing, if you're not failing right now, that is why you will.
It can easily cause you to fail.
Wow.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, Rina. Guys, I hope you've been blessed by this one. If you've not yet subscribed, please make sure you subscribe. And see you on the next one. Thank you.